Hello everyone. Today I wanted to go ahead and try to do a ASMR video again because I enjoy these so much. And I thought I would go ahead and give it a shot with trying to sync up the audio with a USB microphone that my husband had bought, and I haven't gotten a chance to really play around with it. So we'll see how that works with the microphone and see if I can sync up the audio. But in today's video, I wanted to share a very small collection of seashells that I got recently, a couple months ago, from my grandparents when they moved out of their house. And these have always been in the downstairs bathroom of my grandparents' house. So growing up, every time I would go into that bathroom, there was this little abalone shell filled with all of these different kinds of seashells, and I'd always end up playing with them while I was visiting. And so I wanted to share these fun little shells with you. And of course, my favorite shell is right here on the very, very top. And I know this is just a standard sea snail shell. But it's long, and it's a lot longer and skinnier than most snail shells. But this always made me think of unicorn horns. So when I was little, I would always pretend that instead of it being a seashell, that it was a unicorn horn. And so it was magical, and it's always been my favorite seashell that my grandparents have always had. And it's so pretty and makes some lovely seashell sounds. Scraping against the seashell. And I have headphones in, so I can kind of hear what you're hearing. I don't know if you can hear it from behind the microphone. But anyways, so this seashell was my favorite growing up, so I was very excited when I got this abalone shell from my grandparents. My parents thought it was a little weird that me being a grown woman wanting seashells. So that is my most favorite seashell out of this whole group. So we'll put that one off to the side like a little magic wand or something. Lot of interesting shapes, and I think there's some maybe volcanic rock in here too. I don't know, but I picked this one up. So it has some really pretty banding on it, and I always see these kind of shells with, I don't know if it's this kind, this kind, but I always see these kind of patterned seashells with hermit crabs. Hermit crabs kind of creep me out. Maybe it's because of their little pinchers. I don't know, something about sea crustaceans. They're crustaceans, right? I don't know. I'm just randomly spouting words. Anyways, both of these make me think of hermit crabs. And this one I really, really like because it looks like it has... you remember those magic eye posters that you would stare at and you were supposed to see a shape? It has almost that same kind of base pattern. I don't know. Can you see anything in the shell? I don't know. I don't know if you can really hear. This one has a much deeper sound to it than the last. This one was higher. This one's more like almost knocking on wood. Let's see. We've got some oyster shells, and we'll go ahead and look at those. We've got a couple different oyster and clam shells. I think the outsides are really interesting, and then on the inside it's all smooth. This one has an interesting coloration, and it has dust all over it. I should have dusted these first, but I like the ridges. They're very visually appealing. Everybody's always like with the abalone shell, they're always impressed with the inside of the shell. But I think with like oyster shells and clam shells, I think the outside is more interesting. Tells a little story of that oyster or clam's life, I think, with all of the waves of the ocean beating up against the shell, forming it in the water. I've got a couple different clam shells, and I know these ones are clam shells and this is an oyster shell just based on the shape of it. Oh, and I believe this one was bought in Orlando, Florida, because on the inside it says Orlando is great in 98. Ah, that's funny. So this one was obviously not randomly picked up. And this has interesting little ridges. It amazes me how much difference in color they are. And I don't know why. Is it one's lived further into the ocean? I don't know. If you know that answer, let me know. If you know why there is a drastic coloration difference in shell colorations between different clams. Are they different varieties? I don't know. Okay. Let's see what else. What other kinds? Oh, we've got mussel shells. I don't know. I don't really like mussel shells. I think it has something to do with the beard on them, which there's a tiny little bit of beard left on this one. I don't know, that creeps me out. Something about people people eating fuzzy sea life. That's just odd. Oh, and there's a crack in this one. So I'll have to be gentle with that one so it doesn't crack further. Okay. Now there's a couple in here. I have several necklaces that are made out of this type of shell, and for some reason I cannot remember the name of this type of shell. I don't remember the name of these, but they kind of remind me of pistachios, because you have to pop them open on a seam, so they make me think of pistachios. Say pistachio. These ones are super shiny. They make a nice clinky sound. If you remember, I'm gonna have to look up the names of a bunch of these shells so I can remember what their names are. Look, they just little teeth. They get gonna go. They're gonna eat you. And at one point there was something living in there, but I don't know what. But yeah, it looks like little teeth. Have little ridges on them. Scraping at those ridges. Very interesting. There's a larger version. It has those same kind of ridges. Obviously, this one has more space on the inside of the shell. It has that same woody, clinky sound to it, like I'm knocking on wood. Nobody's home. There's a couple other random little sea snail shells. Say that 10 times fast. And some are smooth, and some are pointy. This one I think is like a conch shell. I think where they can cut off the end of these for the larger shells, and they can use it like a horn. My grandparents have one of those too, but that went to my parents. I end up just making it sound like I'm spitting. So I'm not very good at those. Oh, and something kind of cool that I just noticed is there's a tiny piece of coral down here in the bottom that I never noticed before. It's red coral. It's so pretty. When I put these all back in the abalone shell, I have to make sure that that little piece is up towards the top, because that's really pretty. I've got another little mini unicorn horn. Sounds like a zipper. But it's that same conal shape as this one, just teeny tiny, itty bitty. And we have some more clam shells, some more random other little things, and then these, which I believe are pumice. It feels like whipped cement. I whip cement, but it's really, really, really lightweight. And it just has the most amazing texture. I'm afraid if I scratch on it too much, I will either scratch down my nails or I'll end up breaking off pieces from the pumice. But pumice is a volcanic ash, and where I live, there's a lot of it. I live up in the Pacific Northwest, kind of sort of near Mount St. Helens. So volcanic ash is not something that is foreign to me, but these probably came from Hawaii because they're much larger pieces of pyroclastic material. And I've got several pieces of pyroclastic material in here. Looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably 8 different pieces of pyroclastic material. And then another curly Q snail shell. This one's another one that made me think of unicorns. And so we're gonna go ahead and put these all back in my abalone shell with its nice base of pyroclastic material. I'm having way too much fun saying that. Pyroclastic material. I think I'm going to put that there and make a good base with some of the larger clam shells with what I think is a slightly more interesting side to them. Okay, so I have all my seashells back, and they're large seashell in its abalone shell, and now this will go live in my bathroom for many more years to come. If you have a collection of seashells or other small fun trinkets, let me know in a comment down below. And for all of my ASMR triggerheads, I hope I was able to trigger you. And until my next video, I love your faces.